Have you ever thought what overly nice people have inside their heads? The kind of people who are so obviously inauthentic and nice beyond normal. I mean, what can basically cause them to do what they do? You see, oftentimes such a behavior is subconscious, and such people even themselves don't understand what is causing them to be like that, as there are underlying reasons for such involuntary niceness. In this video, I'll explain 5 underlying causes of overly nice behavior. Consider subscribing to this channel for more videos like this. Scarcity and failure. When you don't have any important people in your life, such as friends, relationships, or family, or you're disconnected from them for a long period of time, you create a kind of scarcity that deprives you of all validation. As you know, we humans are social animals, and it is quite in our nature to depend upon the validation and positive responses of other people, especially of the people that are important to us. And when we don't have any of those important people in our life for a long time, it can take a massive toll on our mental health. The result of this is that such a person becomes hungry for any positive response whatsoever, and the emotional investment in these quote unquote scarce social situations is extremely high, which causes the person to behave in an unusually nice and needy manner. Now, something very important that must be remembered is that such social scarcity is most of the times a result of some massive failure or some extreme negative behavior that caused the person to be ostracized. In rare cases, such a nice person can also be a rebel or maverick who failed to develop the tremendous kind of self belief that is required to become a revolutionary leader. Incompetence. Nice guys breed incompetence, and incompetence breeds nice guys. The word competence comes from compete. Competing means fighting for some goal or racing for a finish line. In the game of life, such a race or competition is inevitable. In fact, much of life is a series of goals and targets sequenced in a warlike fashion. And winning is not easy, whereas failure is inevitable at one point or another. This means that one has to be hardworking and emotionally disciplined to live a life worth living. But people who are obsessed with being nice completely fail to notice this truth. Even if they have good intentions at heart, they are still too afraid to piss some people off for the greater good. On the other hand, there are also some nice parasites, assuming that by just being nice and dandy, they would magically avoid such kind of grind and discipline. They think they will be able to fool people using only nice behavior or charisma. And guess what? They're right, but only sometimes. Now, there is nothing wrong with being nice and charismatic as long as someone's not aiming for a parasitic lifestyle. Such people are found everywhere, and there is nothing productive coming from their alliance. Passive aggressive tendencies. Passive aggressive people are people who are afraid of displaying overtly aggressive behavior. But just like all other human emotions that are natural to us, anger and aggression are also completely natural tendencies. And so they are also present in people who are passive aggressive, even though they might not want to accept such reality. Instead of directly dealing with the aggression and their underlying causes, passive aggressive people try to cover it up using overtly nice behavior. However, such a solution is bound to fail at some point because toxic resentment keeps building deep down, leaking itself out in most cases through passive aggressive jabs out of no significant reason, or in a rare case, exploding altogether in a tantrum. Low self esteem. People with a low self esteem can also adopt the quote unquote too nice behavior. Usually, this is done to prevent others from getting to know the hidden sadness and hurt feelings of not being good enough. Even if the feeling of insufficiency is just a ghost in the head, it still compels the person to adopt overly nice and agreeable behavior so that other people like them or do not get offended even slightly. However, such an ambition is bound to fail because no matter how hard they may try to get people to like them, someone at some point will inevitably get offended, and the person with a low self esteem will consider this a failure even though for a normal person it's not. This kind of attitude keeps creating cycles of overly nice behavior and neuroticism until the self esteem problem is first solved. Empathy and agreeableness. Some people are by nature empathic and considerate of other people in their life. Their agreeable nature makes them an easy target for narcissists and disagreeable people who take advantage of such extra nice behavior. While such people can have phenomenal capabilities like being able to instantly read people, cooperation, having an open mind, etc., agreeable people are more susceptible to depression and anxiety because they have a hard time standing up for themselves. They usually require more energy to push people off. But with practice and emotional intelligence, such people eventually learn how to stop being too nice and protect their interests. No matter what the reason be for adopting overly nice behavior, it comes across as self deprecating and makes others paranoid. This, however, does not mean that aggressive behavior will make things better. In fact, it will be even worse. The solution, in any case, is always identifying the underlying cause of such behavior and eliminating it.